Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm trying to defeat the Martin bot without capturing any pieces. Let's get started with game number 1. Alright, game number 1, I have given myself the white pieces and I will start by playing e4. I'm going to try and play this hyper aggressively for the first game because I feel like the longer I wait, the more likely it'll become that Martin will play some crazy move, even if it's like bishop to b4, bishop takes d2, arrows as good as always. And of course, since I can't capture pieces, I would never be able to take back, thereby leading to like this beta decay of my position until it just disintegrates into atoms. So I need to play this relatively aggressively. I'm going to look for holes in his position and try and capitalize ASAP. The thing is, I can never really count on him to make quote-unquote reasonable moves, and Martin wastes no time in proving my point. This is literally exhibit A. I, of course, would like to take back, but since the entire point of the challenge is to try and win without capturing pieces, that knight is totally safe. Not to mention, that also means that if you'd imagine this queen somehow ended up like on e2, for example, the game would end, because of course I'm not going to allow myself to take back. With all of these scary ideas in mind, I'm going to go ahead and just castle my king, and hopefully that will make him somewhat safer. We are met with pawn to d5. I still can't do anything about this knight, definitely can't do anything about this pawn, so I'll just move the bishop back. Alright, we get pawn to f6, and as you can see, he's starting to create some weaknesses around his king. My concern is whether or not I'm going to be able to actually push through on the attack without being able to make even a single capture. In any case, if this is going to work, I have to play optimistically, so I'll keep lining up my pieces with his king. Now, that's the kind of move that I was looking for. Pawn to g5 is a great sign because that means queen to h5 is on the table. Now, I can't pounce too early because the way the Martin bot is programmed is he can literally never miss a checkmate in one move. I've played some variant challenges before with the Martin bot where I've had my king out, let's say on h3, and if pushing the pawn to discover the bishop is checkmate in one, Martin has a 100% chance of playing that move. Inversely, if I'm threatening checkmate in one move, Martin has a 100% chance of playing something to stop that mate in one. So for the purposes of this challenge, I can't actually capitalize on this too early, or else he's going to start making maneuvering moves to get himself out of trouble. I'm going to keep developing my pieces. We get bishop to e6. You'd imagine because it's Martin, I should also have some leeway on playing funky moves like knight to d4 without actually getting captured. I'm just not exactly sure what the odds are there, what the over-under is on me actually getting captured. Alright, for the time being, let's just keep developing our pieces. I feel like if I overthink it, I'm just gonna end up thinking myself into a corner where there was actually nothing to calculate. Okay, here comes the knight. Again, he's completely untouchable, so nothing I can do about that. Keep bringing pieces to the center of the board. Nice, we get bishop to e7. I kind of want him to castle, because as you can see, there's a lot of space around the king here, but I'm not really sure I can induce him into doing that. Let's just keep throwing pieces in his general direction. It's very hard here to actually break through his position. I mean, he can literally do whatever he wants, and I can't stop him. Let's line up a little discovered attack, right? Maybe a double check. Okay, that's not the best thing I've ever seen for my position, but I was thinking a double check along the diagonal and with the knight would definitely force him to move in this general direction, which means that when I do come in with my queen, he won't be able to block with his bishops, right? As the king starts to sort of scoot over to the king side of the position. Let's continue with knight to h4. Because I think I want this available before I launch this double attack. Okay, he actually instantly takes. Now, oh, I wonder if I can play check? Oh goodness, I was gonna say bishop f7 would be met with knight to d6, unleashing that double check, and the queen and the knight both see the bishop, which means literally nothing, because I can't take it anyways. But if the king has to move to f8, maybe I have queen to h6. King shuffles over, and I was gonna say knight to f5, but the knight would simply take, especially since it's threatening checkmate in one move. But it feels like there's something here. There's something to be poked at here. Okay, I'm thinking, even if it's not actually a perfect plan, even if it doesn't actually work, I still think it's worth giving it a shot. My only concern is king to d7, because if the king jumps over behind his pieces, then I'm basically, for lack of a nicer word, screwed for the rest of the game. Okay, let's give this a try. We'll try queen to h5. Oh, that's like the only move I couldn't have him play. King to f8 would have been great. Bishop to f7 would have been great. King to d7 is like the only move that I was genuinely afraid we would get. And now the problem is he's just surrounded by so many pieces that there's just no way that I can force mate in one, quote unquote, without capturing any pieces. I'm gonna be honest, this is almost resignable, but I'm going to throw some final Hail Marys and see if I can make something, apparate onto the board. Oh, for crying out loud. Rook comes in with the capture. Might as well bring my own king to the center of the board. Here comes the bishop. Yup, and with that, we do actually get checkmated by Martin. I feel like we were really close. If it had just been any other move besides king to d7, I feel like we had a chance. Let's go to move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, I'm actually not mad at all with how that went. So I'm going to try the same idea, and I'm just going to expect him to do something a little bit different. So let's do the same sort of really aggressive development. Nice, knight to h6, just because Martin is almost like an RNG bot, except when it comes to stuff like, I suppose, free material and checkmate in one move. Besides that, he's almost an RNG bot, so you can always expect him to do something a little funkier each time. Okay, this is a good sign, because there's a non-zero chance he castles, and then just exposes his own king crazy style. So I'm going to keep developing. I have no reason to rush into anything here. Nice, so far so good. Bishop to b4 is not the greatest sign in the world. I'm going to castle my king out of the way before we get a trade, and let me finish my development. Okay, nice. He does in fact castle, which is a really good sign, because if I can just hold on for long enough to allow him to expose his own king just on random chance, basically, then eventually I can wiggle my way in and maybe force a checkmate. I'm just really afraid to push too early into the position, because if I play something like knight g5 and he just tries to give away his queen, then I've just lost a knight, because of course I can never take back. So I'm going to play a little bit slow and steady and kind of wait for him to expose his own king. That's not a great sign. I'll just wiggle around my pieces. Here comes, oh goodness, here comes the knight. I'll move my king over and maybe shuffle my rooks over as well. No point in overthinking any of this since, oh, you've gotta be kidding me. Oh, and for the purposes of this game, that's checkmate, because I can't take back the knight. Wow, that sucks. All right, I guess we're moving on to game number 3. All right, game number 3. How can I possibly change my strategy to lose less pieces? Maybe I just play a little more passively. Maybe I just hide all of my pieces, right? I just develop them and then instantly tuck them away. So you've got to be kidding me. He's actually just taunting me at this point. I mean, that's ridiculous. All right, I'm going to tuck my bishop back. Maybe this is the strategy. I just develop and then I tuck my pieces away immediately and hope that he doesn't touch any pieces that he doesn't need to touch. Let's go. Ooh, I'm going to play queen to f3 because even though I know that this is an actual threat, I guess it is defended by the knight. I was gonna say it could lead him to like weaken his own pieces. So I'm gonna create this threat even though I know that I'm not gonna follow through on it. So I'll just push and target the knight. Ah, you've got to be kidding me. Does he really not care? I'm threatening a completely free piece. Martin, look again. Look closer. Analyze the board. No, that's not what I needed you to do. Okay, I'm gonna develop my pieces. Maybe I can sneak a knight in and jump in through f6. Right, because there are weaknesses objectively in the position. It's just a matter of whether or not I can utilize them without losing my pieces. Okay, so that's check. That's got to be progress of some kind. Here comes the king. Maybe I just drop the knight back. And now I have queen to f6 on the board, which I really like. Oh no, knight to g8 welcomes queen takes f7, but I can't do anything about that because that's a capture. But there's got to be something here. Let's go. I can't play d4. Okay, let me castle first, and then I want to play d4 and try and lure him into like losing pieces. Okay, knight to f6, not the best thing I've ever seen, right? Because obviously I can't take as much as I'd love to. So maybe I do need to retreat the knight here. I also kind of need to learn to cut my losses. Like if he does some crazy stuff like this, I can expect him. Right, I can expect him to do more crazy stuff in the future, but only if I give him the chance, right? If I immediately succumb to just losing material for no reason, then I'm never gonna have a chance. Let's start breaking open the center here. Okay, here comes the bishop, because why not? Let's keep pushing. That's like the most Martin move I've seen in my life. Oh my goodness, look what he says. He says, you'll make your own capture soon, yes? Wait a second, can I pop this up? Right there. You'll make your own capture soon, yes? Little does he know, I actually will not. In fact, I have zero intention of making my own capture anytime soon. Let's keep giving away pieces. I need to break through into the... Okay, that's not ideal. But I was gonna say I need to break through into the position. Maybe if he would capture with his knight, that would be nice. So I can get queen to f6 on the board. It's also a check. You've got to be kidding me. Okay, the queen comes into play, and obviously I can't take. So let's separate our queen at least. Bishop takes on b2, also not ideal, but not the worst thing in the world. We'll just move the rook out of the way. I really need him to take, so I can eventually get my queen to f6. Okay, pawn to d6, discovered attack on the queen. You'd imagine I move her out of the way, and maybe I can slide her in back here. Man, I really need like f6 or something here. I need some crazy diabolical like exposing move that leaves the king completely naked. Let's get this knight out of the way. Since it's never going to take the queen, I might as well reroute it and get it to do something productive. Ooh, maybe if I give this check. Oh, if I give this check and it takes with the bishop, I'm toast. But if it takes with the pawn, I have queen to f6 check. And it's not mate, but it sure starts to like smell of it quite a bit. I could also play something like rook d3, bait the knight away, knight h5, and then hope he takes, but somehow I'm more willing to take my 50-50 chance with the knight giving check. Oh, the bishop does in fact take. You know what, I could have just played queen g7 this entire time, and then I have queen to f6. Okay, so I just lost a knight for no reason, but I did get my queen onto f6. The king shuffles out of the way. This is where I would love to take on e5 and absolutely bamboozle that king, but alas. Okay, let's go rook to e3, and I just need, oh my goodness, I just need him to like, okay, maybe I'm thinking about this all wrong, right? Because I'm going after the king, but what I think I need to be doing is get it, because he's never going to lose pieces, right? So I need to find a way to get my pieces around his position to actually attack his king. If I keep trying to brute force it from the front, I'm literally never going to get an attack. So how can I do that? I'm going to wrap up this game first with some diabolical Hail Mary attempts, but for the next game, I'm going to try and get my pieces around his position. I think that's my new strategy. All right, we get checkmated by Martin again. Let's go ahead and give this one last try with game number 4. All right, game number 4. This time my strategy, I think, is also to play sort of passively at first, and then as soon as he exposes his king, then I try to work all of my pieces in one big like cloud around his position and back into his king's, space. That's my final strategy. I genuinely, oh, that's a great sign. I was gonna say, I genuinely think I've learned everything that I can learn basically about how to try and defeat Martin without capturing. So this is probably my final attempt. Anything outside of this would just be basically me trying for RNG. All right, let's move this bishop back. Let's get some more exposition moves like this. Let's get some more weaknesses going. And again, I'm just gonna hold back until I see a clear sort of light. Oh, that's a great sign. Oh goodness, that's a wonderful sign. But again, I'm not going to, I don't think I should front face him because I'm never gonna be able to break through his pieces. I'm always going to need to go around basically. So I'm gonna hang back for a little bit longer. Okay, pawn to a6 means there's a weakness now on b6. Let's start developing a little more aggressively, but not with the intention of breaking through necessarily. All right, pawn comes in, and I think this is our sign, right? I'm gonna try and get my pieces in through the king's side. I first need to secure c7 though, because as long as the king can run to c7, if I bring my entire army this way, he'll always have an escape like route. So let's go bishop d2, bishop a5 first. Oh, but there's the queen on b6, right? That just covers that square. I honestly kind of forgot about that. Let's go knight to a4, target the queen, and hope he actually responds accordingly. No, of course not. It's Martin. He's going to play whatever he pleases. We get knight to e7. Is there any other way I can sort of like plug c7? Maybe I just buy a little more time until he notices the very obvious situation with the queen. All right, he's deciding to completely ignore it. I'm gonna give this check anyways, because if he does play king to c7, the queen kind of plugs the escape square. But no, we get pawn to f5, nice. So now we can start working our pieces around. This is what I needed. King to c7 is played anyways, but I don't really care. And now I'm gonna work to get my entire army in through the king side. Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. Why is knight to d7 like incredibly concrete? Not to mention the queen's been hanging for like all these turns, but in terms of the rule set that we're playing by, king to b8 is a huge problem, because unearthing that king is going to be almost impossible. Okay, let's continue trying to break through on the king's side. Knight to d5, sure. I really need like an open file. If I can open up a file, then I can get a whole bunch of like pieces down into the position. Maybe I should also be actively avoiding trades, right? Because as long as he has an obvious trade on the board, I just stand to lose material. Rook to a7. Let's bring the queen in a little bit further. Oh, wonderful! Oh, king to d8 is like the best move I've ever seen in my entire life. I genuinely just need him to play anything to c7 and we have actual like checkmating chances here. Let's go pawn to e4, open up the possibility of the bishop coming in if the pawn ever takes, right? This is what I need. I need opportunities galore and hope basically that Martin bites on one of them. We'll bring the rook to the center just because we can. He takes on e4. Let's bring the knight around through g3 because f5 has now opened up since the pawn has moved out of the way. Okay, queen to b5, he finally notices the minor tension happening on the queen side. Let's advance the knight, right? Taking advantage of any holes in his position. Okay, this is actually not half bad because now the queen cuts off the king completely. Actually, everywhere. So all I need to do is get check on the board. The problem is, how do I threaten checkmate in such a way that Martin doesn't just immediately block it? I don't know if it's possible, to be honest. Right, because now I have the knight in the equation, I have the queen in the equation. I need something else. I need something else poking into the position to like tie this attack all together. Let's go c4. I know what I said about not breaking through the front. But this is just abysmally slow. Okay, and there goes the knight. He really just does not care about his queen whatsoever. Why is this challenge so incredibly difficult? You'd imagine it's never too late to castle. Might as well do that. Queen does take the free knight. Let's just keep pushing. The plan of going around felt good, but it was so incredibly slow that I just didn't see anything actually coming of it. Let's move the rook over. Maybe he'll take and open up the semi-open file. It's just so difficult to just let him play with all of his pieces. Right, because half of what makes Martin, quote unquote, not a great player is the fact that he will give you an insane amount of free material. I mean, look at all the free material that's just been sitting on the board, right? We can call back to the queen that was hanging for like 7 moves straight. But the problem is if I never take that material and Martin always sees checkmate in 1 move, it's very difficult and unlikely for him to draw all of his pieces so far away from the king that I create an unstoppable checkmate. I mean, the RNG of that, of him just like moving all his pieces crazy style to the edge of the board, is just incredibly unlikely. Doesn't mean I won't try, but that's about how this is going so far. Sure. Oh, there we go. Getting some pieces to the side of the board, reinvigorating my optimism. Let's get this pawn out of the way because at some point I'm gonna need this bishop. Right, knight takes. Let's give him a free pawn. Maybe we can open up a file. That would be amazing. No, let him do whatever he pleases, because why not? Let's go king to h1. Maybe rook g1, rook coming in on the 7th is a little more likely. Okay, pawn finally takes on f3. No shot he sees check here and then mate. Well, I guess we have rook g3, so it's not actually mate. Let's go knight here, or rather rook here, and maybe we can loosely deter knight to f2. Okay, rook to h7 does allow check. Problem is king to c7, but we do have this blocked off. The problem is, where does the queen go after that, right? She's definitely not going to d6 because that's a capture. She's definitely not, staying on the back rank. Oh, is my queen trapped? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I think my queen is trapped. Yeah, because if I move to any of these squares, obviously I'm unsafe. If I stay on the 7th, I'm getting taken. And if I move back to the 8th, king moves out of the way with the discovered attack. And then I'm back to square one. Wow, this is frustrating. Well, it's not like I have many choices, so might as well give that check. Right, king moves out of the way. Oh my gosh, how I would love to just take here. But in the spirit of the challenge, I'm not going to. That's so crazy, because I've literally defeated the Martin bot with a singular pawn. Obviously, that relied on some RNG as well, but as soon as I pushed that pawn to the edge and then promoted it, I won the game, with just a singular queen. But the problem is, that relied on me taking pieces. Here, I can't take anything. I just leave Martin with all of his amazing, large amounts of material. He literally has a 14-point advantage right now. I mean, what more could you ask for? All right, we're gonna try and matrix our way out of this with queen to h6, queen to e3. The thing is, even going all the way back here, somehow my queen has no safe squares. Like, how insane is that? Okay, we're just gonna try and make peace with Martin's position. If I can somehow hang out here for a little bit longer, that would be spectacular. So maybe I just retreat and he leaves my queen alone. All right, there goes my queen. Let's throw out some diabolical Hail Mary moves and just see what happens. Man, alright. With that, we do lose all 4 games, and I don't manage to actually defeat the Martin bot without making any capturing moves. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below if you guys have a different strategy that you think I should try. I really just have no idea if this is even possible. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.